We have a quick question here from Gabriel asking what type of impact will the most recent announcement have that New Zealand is suspending the extradition treaty with Hong Kong following the imposition of the national security law. Now, Gabriel, the thing about this release is that New Zealand isn't the first country to do this. We already had Australia, as well as Canada, as well as the United Kingdom, all of them coming out basically doing the same thing, suspending that extradition treaty with Hong Kong. Now, so far, the market reaction has been fairly limited because, it's not a major risk off deal right now. Where it will get interesting, though, is if we do see China deciding to take any economic retaliation or any retaliatory steps against these four nations, that'll have a potential impact on the overall risk flows, not only on the overall risk flows, but also on each of these individual nations and their currency. So, looking at something like New Zealand, for example, if you compare China as their export partner, 24% of their exports goes to China, and of that 24%, these are the products in mind. So, if China decides to target anything like concentrated milk, butter, any major dairy products, or rough wood, for example, that can have a major impact on the New Zealand economy and can affect the Kiwi dollar. Looking at something like Australia, a much larger part of their exports goes to China, so 35.5% of that. And if China decides to target things like iron ore, coal, petroleum, etc., that'll have a major impact on the Australian dollar. Looking at something like Canada and the UK, they are far less exposed in terms of the size of trade. So China, only 5% of their exports for Canada. And there's a whole range of products they're going to them that can affect them, but it should be rather limited given the size of these exports going to them. Turning to something like the UK, it gets a little bit more interesting though. Also a small part, less than 5%, coming in at 4.71%, but 21% of that is cars, and 22% of that is crude. So any one of these exports being targeted by China, going to or going to China from the UK, that can have an impact on the pound. So right now, not expecting any major impact on these currencies from the suspension of the treaties. But if we see China starting to target any of these major export products from these nations, that can have a bigger impact for these currencies, and that is something that we can look for further potential reactions from the market.